Hey there, and welcome to the UkeStuff channel. And today we're taking a look at this instrument. It is the Horse Concert Ukulele. And that's kind of a crazy name. It's sold on Amazon only, as far as I know, by a company called Lot Music. And they sent one of these to me. I think they've sent them to a couple other people as well. I know for sure Steve Girardi on Steve's Strings has recently reviewed this as well. So if you are interested in this instrument, after watching this review, go check out his as well. And we're going to take a look at this. Now, on these reviews, I use something called the Uke Guide. It's an idea that I had after looking at an appliance that we had just recently bought. I think it was a dryer and a washer combination. And they have that big yellow sticker on the side that summarizes how you're going to save money. And I thought about that, and I thought about all these different resources, and I thought, well, why don't I just make a single page that would talk about like subjective and objective things, and then I could have that and offer that on the ukestuff.info blog where this all started. And that's where it came from. And now I do these reviews mainly on a video, but that Uke Guide is always available at ukeguide.info or ukestuff.info. Either one will get you to my blog where you can then download the different guides. And currently, as I film this, there are over 40 reviews. I know that's just a drop in the bucket compared to some other reviewers, but you've got to start somewhere, right? So with this review, again, what we'll do is we'll look at subjective issues, which is opinion-based. We'll look at objective, just data, and then I'll give you my overall summary of the instrument. Along the way, we'll also do some other things. I've been incorporating an internal camera to see what it looks like on the inside. And I've also recently been doing sort of a sound harmonic test to see what's going on with as particularly the reverberation of the instrument as it sustains. So those also appear in this video. So let's begin. The cost of this is $65. Now, I want you to take a look at this. This is a look at Keepa, which tracks Amazon prices. And if you notice, the price has been going up. When this was first sent to me, this was I believe a $59 ukulele, and now it's $64.99. That's not a huge price increase. I think they started off, if I remember right, around $49.99 as they were first introduced, and they've gone up since. So the price has been rising a little bit. That's something to keep in mind. If this is something you're interested in, right now the trend is all up. Maybe it will go down, maybe there'll be a sale, but just be aware of that with the cost. Now let's talk about value. With value, you have to look at the ukulele, and we'll talk about quality later, but you have to take a look at what you're getting, and then you also have to look at the accessories. Now, here is one of the things I really like. The gig bag, it's not super padded, but it's nice. It's a nice gig bag. Now, are there better gig bags on the market? Sure. Are you going to get a better gig bag at the $65 price point or less? Probably not. So, I mean, it's pretty good, and I really like this slate blue color. The trend right now has been sort of a gray color from a lot of companies, and this is a sort of a slatish, more blue in it, which appeals to me. Now, you will notice the branding. You've got the horse there. You'll see the horse on the headstock. You'll see the one horse on the fretboard, and of course you'll see the horse in the sound hole. But other than that, you're not going to get a ton of horse. So anyway, you get this nice bag as part of it. Now let's talk about what else you get. You're going to get D'Addario titanium strings, which are sort of more towards the fluorocarbons that I always like, and definitely more that way than Aquila or Aquila super nail gut strings. Now, before I go any further, let me just stop and say again, I have nothing against Aquila at all. I like the company a ton. I love their colored strings. I love the sugared strings. I'm just not a fan of the strings that come with everything. And again, those super nail gut strings that are probably on most of your entry-level ukuleles, if you haven't swapped them out, basically what they do is they really mellow out an instrument, and they just sort of keep it under control. There's nothing bad about them. If that was all that we'd have, we'd be okay with it, but there are other choices. So the D'Addario titaniums are another choice. They sort of have a purple hue that you'll never pick up, I don't think, on the screen. But with that, they also send you a second pack of them. And they're not the cheapest strings. I mean, they're not super expensive. Strings in general aren't that expensive, but it's nice. You get a different kind of string that works well with the instrument. We'll talk about that later with sound. And you get 2 packs. That's nice. here's where things go a little wonky. They send you a guitar strap. And if you noticed, I didn't even take it out. For me, a guitar strap is too wide. I mean, think about you're putting a 2-inch strap right here. I much prefer a 1-inch strap. I know some people want to play the guitar strap, fine, but I'd say for most of us, we'd say a thinner strap, not as too thin of a strap, but about 1 inch is about what we need. So if that's something that Lot Music can adjust in their future packing, that'd be great. They also include a capo, but it's a guitar capo. So let me show you this. When you put the capo on and you extend it across, you end up with that edge sticking so far out there, and it works, right? It works, but there are ukulele capos that I would think would be cheaper to buy and just lighter and better just for functionality. You get 3 picks, and again, I don't understand why the companies have to include picks. I don't get it at all. I mean, if you're going to include a pick, make it leather, make it felt, but don't do that. And then finally, this is kind of cool. Actually, not finally. I'll go the pen ultimate. They send you a little microfiber cloth you can wipe the strings, wipe the instrument with after you play. That's nice, okay. And then they give you a tag, so if somebody was going to buy these for retail and hang them in the store, you could use this as your price tag. But on the back is kind of a functional chart of chords, which is actually a pretty good use of space. So you get all that stuff. Now, again, I know the kit isn't sorted well. The bag is really nice. The strings are awesome. For those 2 things alone, it's a really good value. So at $65 for an instrument that looks pretty good, sounds good, and comes with most of the stuff that you need, it's a pretty good deal. Now, I will say that I do wish they also included a tuner, because this is aimed at beginning players, so it'd be nice if that included a tuner as well. In fact, I'd actually take out the capo, I'd make a thinner strap, and include a tuner. That's what I would do. Now, in terms of build quality, I've looked at this on the inside and out. It looks pretty good to me. There are a couple of things that I noticed that I'm just going to share with you before we go take a look on the inside. The first thing I noticed is that the fretboard is technical wood. Now that could mean that it's a bunch of things. It could mean that it's sort of a plywood of various things. It doesn't bother me, right? A hard black fretboard is a hard black fretboard. Works great. But I don't know if you can see it, there's some color differentiation on this fretboard. So there's like a streak of brown that shines through. That doesn't bother me. That adds character to me for the instrument, but I know that there are people that will be out there that'd be sending this back to Amazon immediately for that. So, yeah, so that's one concern. That's really the only concern that I have with the instrument in terms of it's being put together. Kind of interesting. I liked this, by the way. Look at the back of the tuners. In the factory, they figured out that if all the little plastic, because you can remove these. I didn't do it yet, but you can remove, of course, you can remove the quality control sticker. But if you can remove these and it's just silver underneath, it's a closed gear tuner. So what they do is they do blue on the right hand and white on the left hand so that they have an easier time assembling it. That's pretty genius, really, right? You know, you have all these parts in front of you. Let's make it easier for our workers to put them together. And of course, you do get strap buttons and everything too. So now, before we talk any more about it, let's just take a look on the inside. Here is the interior view of what's going on in the Horse Concert Ukulele. All right, let's take a look in our Horse Ukulele here. See our symbol, we'll go right down the fretboard and into the sound hole. There's the label there, the UH-23C. All right, and we'll take a look down here and see what we got. Right now, looking straight down at the bottom of the ukulele, you can see the notch kerfing. You can see a little bit of glue spill here and there. You can see the 2 top braces that go up and down on the ukulele. You can see the bridge plate and the screws coming through the bridge plate down there. You can see the bottom brace there. Really nothing to worry about here. Let's take a look from the other side. Trying to get far enough back that we can see what's going on here. All right, so there is the neck block. And you can see it looks pretty good, pretty well. There's a scratch there on the side. All right, and there is the top brace. And right after that, there's the neck block where it meets the neck. You can see how that's all put together there. So overall, a little bit of glue here and there, but overall a pretty clean build on the inside. All right, so there you have it. A pretty clean build with the horse model UH23C. All right, welcome back. So that's what it looks like on the inside. Really pretty well put together. I don't have any complaints there. In terms of appearance, it's pretty plain. Now, that doesn't mean it's unattractive. This whole category of appearance doesn't mean looks good, looks bad. I can't go that far subjectively, but what I can say is it's plain or it's really got a lot of appointments, a lot of extra things. This one is kind of plain. You do get, looks like a transfer rosette. You get a different kind of headstock, which is nice to see. You get the horse logo. Steve Girardi thought that that was actually an inlay. I don't know if that's an inlay or if it's just, again, just an application like that. I don't know, but it looks just fine, and it's kind of neat how the horse is part of the O. That's pretty good marketing. You get the horse there, and of course you get the horse logo on the inside. Now, in terms of appearance, there is another ukulele that I like that is very heavily adorned with stuff that I don't like. So in other words, I like the instrument, I don't like all the stuff on it. What I like about this one is if you like horses, if you are a person that is an equestrian, this would appeal to you. But if you're not, if you don't really care too much one way or another about horses, you can play this and you're not overwhelmed with the horse. In fact, quite honestly, the worst situation is the horse logo, which is screened onto the bag. That's the worst part. So if you can handle that, nothing on here is ever going to be a problem. So I like that the horse part of it is subtle. It appeals to those that like it, and it doesn't drive away people that don't. So anyway, in appearance still, it is pretty plain. The mahogany is pretty, it's striped, it does its job, the laminate mahogany. Now, let's actually talk about that too. The ad for this on Amazon currently says AAA mahogany. Now, that might be true. There's this little deal that you should know, which is that when a ukulele company says this is made of koa, AAA koa, if they just say koa, generally that means it is laminate koa. If they say it's solid koa, then it's solid. I am not a fan of that. I wish companies made it clear because, quite honestly, people get confused and misled too easily. So they buy an ukulele, they're like, hey, I bought a koa ukulele, it was $70. And then they bring it home and their friend takes a look and goes, I see sandwich layers on your sound hole, it's not solid koa. And then they write the company and they go, hey, how come you said it was a koa instrument? They're like, well, it is koa. It's made out of, koa laminate, and the top layer is a real thin layer of koa, and then it has, the particulate is made out of leftover koa. Well, that's not the same thing. So just be aware, it is a laminate mahogany. You probably know that at the price point anyway, but it's just worth saying. And then to every company, just say laminate mahogany. There's nothing to be ashamed of with a laminate instrument. Now, does a solid instrument sound better? Not always, but they can. They usually do. A solid instrument or a solid top generally do carry different sound qualities just because it's solid wood, but that doesn't mean that laminate's bad. It's also a little bit more durable, a lot more durable actually, and so much better probably for a beginner to not have to spend so much money on a solid ukulele, and they just buy this. And I think we'll come to that at the end. I'll try to remember that. So in terms of appearance, it is laminate, AAA laminate mahogany, and that's what I would say. Availability. It's available right now on Amazon, but there is a catch. For some reason, when I search horse ukulele, it doesn't always come up. Some other results come up. So you might have to look for Lot Music, all one word, horse ukulele, or Lot Music horse concert ukulele. I don't know why it doesn't always come up on the search for me, especially, since I've been looking it up a lot from time to time, but just be aware of that. So let's talk playability. Overall, I'm very pleased with it. It comes set up really well. There are no sharp fret ends to be found, and that's even after several weeks of ownership here. It has really low action at the first fret and maybe a touch high at the 12th, but totally within acceptable range. So it's just above 2.5 millimeters. So I like it right at 2.5, but it's so close, it's not worth arguing about. The nut is inching towards a 36 millimeter nut, but not quite there. It's larger than 35, but the spacing is also just a touch thinner than on some others of these Amazon sort of concert ukuleles I've been looking at. So in terms of setup and feel, it's pretty playable. The neck is a little thick. It's a little bit thicker than some of the others. Again, just by a touch. So overall, I think it's very playable, and I would think it'd be a great option for a first ukulele for a player. In terms of sound quality, I like the sound. I do. Again, I like ukuleles that have a lot of treble. I don't like ukuleles that get caught in the mids and lows, although I do like ukuleles that sound through the entire pattern. So, pretty nice reverb. It carries the high frequencies. Now, one way that I take a look at that now is I use an app called TonalEnergy Tuner. So what I do is I ask myself this: is what I'm hearing what actually a processor hears, a sound processor? So let's take a look at this. So I'm going to play the chord. It's just a C chord, one finger chord. And then you can see what sustains. Now originally, everything activates along the frequencies with all the harmonics. But then, after that energy kind of fades off, you see what's left in the sustain. And as you can see, the sustain moves up into the middle range, which is actually pretty high in our hearing. The very, very highest end is very, very hard for us to hear. But in other words, what I'm hearing here, which is an instrument that doesn't carry a lot of low, but a lot of nice shimmery high, is pretty accurate. So I like the sound. It's loud. It's bright. It's definitely not a solid wood ukulele, but you don't expect it to be. It has pretty nice sound for a laminate, and I like it. So let's go over the objective information about it. First of all, it is a concert ukulele with a 15-inch scale length from the nut to the saddle. There are 18 frets. You get 14 to the body. There are side position markers, but one of the strange things is that there is not a double marker at the 12th. A lot of times a company will put two markers there. You do get a 12th marker, but just not a double dot. The body style is a traditional double bout, just about as traditional as you can get. The soundboard is laminate mahogany, very thin. The backs and sides are laminate mahogany. The fretboard is labeled as technical wood. The bridge is also technical wood, and you have a traditional tie bar bridge. It does not have a radius fretboard, and as far as I can tell, the nut and saddle are plastic, but it is a compensated saddle. So you can see that, for example, the C string and E string get a little more space to vibrate because they're thicker strings. It's your traditional satin finish. The overall length is 24.5 inches, and it weighs only 1 pound, 1.1 ounces. That's actually a little bit lighter than a very similar ukulele that I reviewed not too long ago. And I think, again, part of that is because this laminate top is visibly thinner. And I think that's where that weight difference comes in. Closed-geared tuners. And of course, they're not marked on what they're from, but closed gear tuners. The action at the first fret is less than 0.5 millimeters. The action at the 12th fret is just a touch over 2.5 millimeters. And the nut width is 35.63 millimeters, getting close to 36. I checked the space between the strings at the first fret. It's 8.38 millimeters between each string, giving you 28.48 millimeters G to A, also at that first fret. And then I check the depth of the neck at the third fret, and it's 22.6 millimeters. That's actually one of the deeper measurements that I've had lately. If there's anything that could be improved on this ukulele, would be for a little bit more shallow neck, I think. A little skinnier neck with a little less of that baseball bat feel. That would be the only thing in terms of those dimensions that I would actually suggest changing. And that's the objective information on this instrument. So let's go and wrap it up. Now, this brand was new to me. It's probably new to you as well, unless you've seen the introduction that Daniel Hulbert did at Circuits and Strings, or if you saw Steve Girardi's review of this instrument on Steve Strings. And if you don't subscribe to their channels, please go ahead and do it. I enjoy their work a lot. So, the three of us for sure have taken a look at this, but I don't think a lot of people have. And it's definitely worth checking out. Yes, it's another budget-priced entry-level ukulele from Amazon. A lot of people look at me and say, why are you interested in these entry-level ukuleles? And again, I go to the fact that my main job is as a music educator, and I include ukulele in my own instruction and as a part of the instruction right now, my 5th grade students. And I used to teach it to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders as well. And I get lots of students that ask what ukulele they should buy. And I love to have inexpensive packages that can get them going, where my students are going to have a good playing experience with a good sound and a good playing ukulele. Does the horse fit that? Yes, it does, as do some of the others. Now, I know some other people get very upset and they say, well, why not just shop at your local store, or why not use a ukulele specialist? As for local stores, a lot of them don't know what they're doing when it comes to ukuleles. I'm sorry, but a lot of them just take them out and hang them on the wall. If you have a local store that does better, by all means, check them out. And the ukulele specialists, I totally support them, but in reality, some of them, such as the ukulele site, don't even deal with the pure beginner ukes anymore because the profit margins are so low. So if you want to help out those ukulele specialty stores, buy your 2nd and 3rd and 4th ukes there rather than Amazon. But to get going on a low-priced, good instrument, I think is a win as a music educator, because I know then that when you buy and you have a good experience and you buy your 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th ukuleles, then you can support the community as a whole. And, of course, if you need things like strings or other things, you can always use your local music store as well. Even if you need things like a tuner or strings or whatever, your local music store may not carry a wide selection, and you still may end up calling an ukulele shop to get those things. So that's why I'm always interested in these instruments, not for my own keeping, but for being able to recommend them to others and to my students and to teachers that might want to even buy a set of these. Overall, I like the couple of weird twists that this one brings. I like the different headstock. I like the fact that it has a theme, the horse theme. I like the bag a lot. I like the twist of the strings that they use a lot. These are all really positive things. Again, there's a couple things I don't like in the kit, and that's not a reason not to buy it. You can buy a different ukulele strap. You can buy a different capo, but I would love to see Lot Music change it up to make it a ukulele strap and a ukulele capo, and then to add a tuner. That'd be perfect. That'd be absolutely perfect. I also like the fact, again, that the horse theme isn't overdone, so that if you're like me and you appreciate horses, but you don't own a horse, you don't ride a horse really, this is perfect, because then, you know, you can kind of have that Western theme without going overboard. I really like that. Now, keep an eye on this in terms of the price. It's gone up, and it's gone up quite a bit percentage-wise since it was first introduced. So if this one would keep raising in price while others that are very similar to it on the market don't, then it may not be as good of a value down the road. But right now, at the $65 price point, up or down a little bit, it really is a good ukulele. And if they can sort out the rest of the kit issues, because again, if you want a different ukulele strap now, for example, one of them from Flight, that's another $10 that you're going to have to spend or more. Some of the ukulele straps are like $20 to $25. That's more money that you're going to have to invest to get that strap and to bring it up to the kit that you'd want. And if you want a tuner, you're going to end up spending between $5 on the low end and $20 on the high end. I mean, you can even go further than that. But if again, it's more money you have to put in. So be aware, again, with the price and how much you have to pay and the other things. So if they can get that all sorted out, this would be an incredible uke, and it would get my highest rating. But as it stands, I rate these ukuleles on a rating of 0 to 5 ukuleles. I'm going to give this one because I like the sound. I like most of the kit. I like the strings. I think it's set up well. This is a 4.5, especially for what you're getting for the price. And I'm very comfortable with that rating. 4.5 ukuleles out of 5. Well done, Lot Music. Just a couple things to address, and you would have literally the perfect starter kit and an ukulele that people can play for years. So thanks for watching the video, and I hope you're having a great day. And I will be back soon with some more Uke stuff for you.